Hey, how's it going? Hello. Just wanted to record a few thoughts on the new Second Sight Films release of House of the Devil, which is up for pre-order now. Second Sight are dispatching them this week. It's actually properly available next Monday. This is the limited edition. There's also a standard release, which is just the Blu-ray without all the extra supplements and the box. Yeah, just finished watching the film again. Second time I've ever watched it. I had the standard release years ago, which I still got. Watched it back then, probably about, I don't know, 2019 maybe I watched it for the first time. Directed by Ty West, who's recently done the films X Pearl and Maxine. Also the, can't remember the name of the film now. Kind of forgot. The Sacrament. Sorry. My brain went a little bit blurry for a sec. So he's done X, you know, Pearl, Maxine, that trilogy. Ty West's also done The Innkeepers. That's another fairly good one. Very slow burn, as is this film. Yeah, let's talk about this slow burn in a sec. Before, though, we'll just have a quick look at the edition and do a quick, like, sort of unboxing, but it's already unsealed, so is it an unboxing? Maybe, but let's have a look at it, POV style. Yeah, I must say, it's another great release from Second Sight. Love the artwork. Again, they go for that kind of artsy, like simplistic artwork. You know, you've kind of just got the character, the House of the Devil in the film's logo font, the very spooky, creepy house where events take place from the film, and just got a very moody look to it. That's what I love about Second Sight. They're a bit more they don't play around with their artwork as much as some of the other labels, which is more fun. Like, you know, you got Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow. You never know what sort of artwork you're going to get with them. You could get something a little more simple or a little more colourful. But with Second Sight, they tend to stick to their scheme. They tend to go for this kind of artsy looking, simplistic art. Whereas other labels will be a bit more playful. But I don't mind Second Sight not being overly playful with the artwork, because every release just looks top tier. Absolutely stunning. That's not, you know, it's not even a critique. I'm just saying what they do. They tend to stick to this format, this kind of uniform with the basic kind of simplistic art, but it really, really looks very impactful. Simple art, but they get the right colour tones and everything just works. You've got that there. Quick look on the back at the specs. Limited edition contents, rigid slipcase, new art by Nick Charge. 70-page book with new essays by Martin Conterio and some other people, and scenes gallery, 6 collectors art cards. It's even got an audio commentary with the director Ty West, producers Larry Fassenden, and the sound designer, as well as much more. There's all your special features there. Synopsis: a desperate college student takes a mysterious babysitting job that coincides with a full lunar eclipse. She slowly realises that her employer has hired her for a terrifying reason, one that could cost her everything. That sums up the film quite well. You get your Amaray with the same artwork on its Second Sight, so it won't have reversible art. You got the disc there, nice black case. Some cool looking art cards with the box art on. I'm just going to tear this because I have no use for it really. It just restricts me when I want to look at them. There's that one, blank on the back. You know, you got like there's sort of like the star there, and yeah, that's a satanic like tool from a ritual. Something like I don't want to give too much away, is why I'm kind of hesitating. But like, yep, if you see the film, you'll know exactly what that is. Silhouette of the main character. There she is again. That one's really cool. There you have it. There's your art cards. And we'll have a quick look through the book. So you get this very nice looking perfect bound book. You've got that character on the back again. The contents. Cast and crew notes. There's a lot of weirdos out there. Satanic panic in suburbia. You know, with it being set in the 80s. And apparently the satanic panic sort of like hysteria was rife. And this film's actually from 2009, but like I say, set in the 80s. Captures that very well. You know, it has a good like 80s aesthetic to it, like with the clothing and things like that. It's not the most 80s thing you're going to see. It's quite subtle, but it looks like a film from the 80s somewhat. It's shot very well. Most scenes in the film are executed very well. And yeah, it just really looks the part. Really looks like some you know, like some random, like, forgotten movie from the 80s. Whilst also looking very clean as well and quite sharp. And the Blu-ray did look rather good. I don't think it's even a new transfer. I'm not too sure. I did have a little flick in the book and I couldn't find anything about the transfer, so I assume it's the same one. But the film's only from 2009, so it's not as if it's going to, you know, need much upscaling or perhaps even whatnot. If it had been a 4K, it would have. I'm surprised this will probably get a 4K eventually. I was about to say I'm surprised it hasn't yet. There's the set anyway, lovely limited edition from Second Sight. Now I'll share a few thoughts on my second time revisit of this one. Watching this film for the second time kind of had its, like, there was kind of good things about that and bad things. Obviously I kind of knew what happens at the ending from seeing it before. The ending is better when you don't know about it when you first watch the film, because it's a lot of this film is just, it's done well, and there is a couple of like more impactful, intense scenes scattered throughout. One scene in particular on about the 40-minute mark I completely forgot about, and that really changes the film into a whole different monster. It starts off very subtly with the woman taking the babysitting job. Her friend drops her off. He's a bit of a strange man, you know, quite inquisitive and stuff. They go out to dinner, the man and the wife. The elderly mother's upstairs asleep, and she's left in the house to just watch over things and, you know, babysit basically. And it's got her like in the house just chilling out, and then she'll hear some strange noises. It's shot excellently. That's one of the best things about the film, the way it looks. One of the scenes in particular is just lovely, where she looks out of the window and it has kind of like a longer shot, and that house just really looks the part in that particular scene, especially with the whole autumn surroundings, you know, as it's set in the woods. And there's quite a few like sort of autumn colours in this film as well. Like, I don't mean to go on too much about like colours and things, but yeah, some of the scenes, especially at the beginning, where the where she's like walking down the street and you've got the orange leaves everywhere scattered throughout, and yeah, it really captures autumn very nicely. But yeah, the whole film's basically build up, so when you've not seen it before, it's much better because you're wondering what's going to happen. You're like, I kind of had an idea, we've seen it before, although a lot of it being fresh to me because I can't remember every little aspect of the movie. And there is a few, like, they do plant some little seeds earlier on. Watching for the first time, you will find it quite an twist perhaps, but there is stuff planted throughout, especially on that 40-minute mark. One of the scenes is rather horrific. I forgot that even happened. I knew something, not to spoil it, but I knew like something happened to her friend who dropped her off, and yeah, it's quite shocking. And even I was quite shocked on a revisit because I forgot that literally happened. I knew something happened, but I didn't remember it being that explosive and pivotal. And then from then on, you kind of have a different view of the film. Yes, the young woman in the house is still unaware of the impending doom and danger, but you aren't, because you've just seen what's happened to her friend, and you keep watching and things just occur. It's got a rather bloody kind of like, you know, Satanist ending, if you will. You know, like, it's got a very bloody ending. You know, there's quite a bit of violence in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, whereas there isn't throughout the film. There's one scene in particular, the one I've just been sort of like tiptoeing over, is pretty horrific, but coming towards within the last 10 minutes, it really does up the ante with the violence and all of that sort of thing. Yeah, a really well made film. It's a slow burn, and when I say it's a slow burn, I'm not even exaggerating that. It is one of the slowest burns you'll get. It's a really well made film. It's got a good idea behind it. It looks very nice. The scenes are done very well. The shots are like obviously calculated very well and give off a particular like aura and vibe, if you will, especially of like 80s kind of autumn in this movie, where it's set in the 80s, set at autumn. It captures that quite nicely, I would assume, from what I've seen from other films set in the same era or from the same era and season. It does capture that nicely. Really good looking film again, great aesthetic, great kind of vision behind it. Just a little bit too slow for me. I wish it had a couple more characters in there and more events, but I do enjoy it and I do appreciate it for what it is, and I really did enjoy revisiting it. Now I need to go through and watch all of the special features on this at some point. But yeah, good pickup. I'm glad I upgraded because I only had the standard release, and I thought, yeah, I'll definitely get this because I missed out on the Umbrella because I found that far too expensive. But yeah, good movie, House of the Devil. Out of 5, because I rate out of 5 because that's what they do on Letterboxd, and that's where I log my, you know, my ratings when I watch a movie. It's also, I use it for my diary so I can keep track of what I've been watching, especially when my head gets a little bit like sporadic when I've watched so many films in 1 week. I'll give it a 3 stars out of 5 stars. So good mark, 3 stars. It's too much of a slow burn, I think. I like a slow burn, I appreciate it, and the ending does explode. It is rather an explosive, satanic fueled ending, but like, you know, with a, you know, some blood and some action and violence, but, and that's when they up the ante. But I feel like for a good like chunk of it, like it's just build and build. Some of the build, yes, whilst looking very showing a lot of good like directorial flair, you know, nice shots, nice sort of creepy atmosphere, although nothing really actually substantial occurring. There's just a little bit too much of that. Yes, it looks lovely and very pretty, very nice, but I feel like the film just could have a little bit more to it. But for what it is, it's a very good film. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. That's just my opinion. House of the Devil, anyway. So any of you guys picked this one up on Blu-ray? Are you looking forward to it? Are you getting it for Monday? There's a standard release as well. I nearly got the standard release, but I do like the film, and I really just wanted this one on limited edition because I do like the whole second sight package. And it wasn't quite, it was pricey enough for a Blu-ray edition, but it wasn't quite as pricey as, say, your 4K editions, like what come out the other week with the Cronenberg films, which I did get, but I paid $29.99 for that, House of the Devil. Thanks for watching anyway. I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.